Welcome to the Meditation Conversation, the podcast to support your spiritual revolution. I'm your host, Kara Goodwin, and this is such a wonderful conversation with Craig Goldberg. You're about to learn so much about how sound and vibration impact your physiology and how you can use it to aid in your healing, body, mind, and soul. I love how Craig explains the different biological processes associated with the nervous system response. I hadn't quite thought about it like that before, and I found it a really powerful way to look at it. So there's so many gems in this episode. Craig Goldberg is a relaxation expert and technologist on a quest to help humanity achieve a deeper sense of inner calmness through the use of sound and vibration technology. He's a vibroacoustic therapy practitioner, and his work is backed by 40-plus years of research showing the many benefits of this type of therapy based on technical acoustics and vibration technology. He's also a patented inventor, constantly exploring new ways to use sound and vibration to help people reduce stress and anxiety, heal, and transform their lives for the better. Craig is passionate about his work and truly believes in its ability to provide a path forward to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. So we'll get started in just a moment, but first check out karagoodwin.com where you can get a free 10-minute meditation. If you want support for your meditation practice, I have a 21-day online program to help you develop your own practice. There's also the Healing Hearth membership where you can get live online assistance with your questions about meditation and life. You can also get a personalized recorded meditation/healing transmission to help you get through whatever challenges are showing up in your life. All of that and more at karagoodwin.com. And now enjoy this episode. So welcome, Craig. I'm so excited to talk to you today. Thanks for being here.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. Grateful to be here.
Well, let's start by talking about your journey to becoming a relaxation expert. How did that come about?
It's funny. It's one of my favorite questions, and the answer I think is pretty obvious. I was stressed and anxious, right? Like I was living in New York. I didn't realize quite how stressed and anxious I was. I was diagnosed as a kid with ADHD. Shout out to my amazing mom who did not put me on drugs and give me any prescriptions, but left me to figure it out myself because I think that's how I actually drifted into this entrepreneurial world. With an astounding percentage of entrepreneurs that are diagnosed with ADHD, ADD, or dyslexia or something like that. I was just stressed and anxious and didn't realize how stressed and anxious I was until I learned how to relax. And how you get the title of relaxation expert is by getting really good at relaxation techniques. Because when you're as high strung and driven and go as I am, it really takes more than just sitting down on the couch, closing your eyes, or sitting down with a book or something along those lines. It takes a little bit more effort. It takes sometimes technology, sound and vibration, which we'll talk about, but it does take some tools, and I'm very fortunate in that I've been able to develop those tools and then share them with the world, hence me being here right now, which is amazing.
Right. So you said you didn't even realize just how high strung you were and how much tension you were holding and how stressed you were. So how did you discover what was the turning point where you started to prioritize relaxation?
So there were a couple. The first was my wife getting sick at this point now about 12 years ago. And doc after doc, nobody could tell us what was wrong. She ultimately had a gluten allergy, not celiac, but a response that she was having to gluten. And of course, this is 12 years later. We know an awful lot more about gluten. There's a hell of a lot more gluten-free products available. I also learned about genetically modified organisms and how GMOs are creeping into most of our food supply, how bad they are for the body. And my wife and I started making some significant changes in what we thought was a healthy life. And I think that's the most troubling and challenging aspect to this, is that until you start having some of these chronic ailments or issues, or even as you have these chronic ailments and issues for years, you're just kind of like, especially here in American culture, we're just like, I'm getting old. that's just part of it. No, it's not. You should be a perfectly healthy, strong, powerful human being, not waking up with back pain, not having a bloating or a reaction to the food you're eating. We write so much off to, oh, that's just the way that it is. And that's just not true. So these series of changes and shifts that we made over a long period of time, I mean over multiple years, continued to raise the bar, continued to break in the glass plateau of like, wow, you know what? I feel better today than I did yesterday. And then there's like another level, right? Like there's another thing that I can do to help myself feel better, to help my body operate better. And so that was kind of the first catalyst. And my wife, we learned about essential oils. We really cleaned up these three main environments: what we put on our skin, what we put in our mouth, and what we allow to be kept in the air around us. Because if you think about it, those three environments are how your physical body interacts with the world around you. And there's toxicity in all three of those inputs: what you put in your mouth, what you put on your skin, and what you keep in the air around you. And your body has these detox pathways, and it's actually quite efficient at removing toxic load, but it's really not as efficient when everything we're throwing at it has toxicity, like that Glade plug-in that you have to help keep your house smell so fantastic. It's one of the most dangerous things you can have in your house. There's a ton of bad things that are in there. And then the 409 cleanser that we're using, and all of a sudden, before you know it, the shampoo that you're using, the lotion that you're using, the soap that you're using, and before you know it, the body can't keep up with the toxic load. And that's when we start showing these chronic ailments and chronic issues. And I wanted to do something about it. So we started teaching, training, and educating on the efficacy of essential oils, showing people how they can replace 75, 80% of the products that they use every single day with something that's plant-based, organic, and from the earth. And that led to, again, this chemical cascade of changes and upgrades in the body once again. And then it also upgraded the people that I was talking to, the places I was going, the conversations that I was having, the technology that I was experiencing. And at some point in 2016, I had my first sound lounge experience, which is a technology that we make and kind of help to proliferate here at InHarmony Interactive. And I was blown away. I've been going to the acoustic instrument, sound therapy and sound healing, sound baths, that sort of thing, the crystal bowls, the bells, the chimes, the didgeridoo, the gong, and really loved the way that I felt. And being an audiophile, I wanted that experience on tap without me or somebody else playing an instrument. And long story long, or short story long, I discovered the sound lounge. I had my first sound lounge experience. I was completely blown away. And I bought one, and then I started telling people about it. And 8 years later, I'm now president, co-founder, and we've been pushing forward this initiative for a long time, helping people to relax and reach the depth of a meditative state using sound and vibration.
Wow. So tell us about the Sound Lounge. I actually have experience with one. I used it in Sedona. I think it
Amazing.
was back in 2020, I think it was. And it was this incredible multi-sensory experience. So, but I imagine some people aren't familiar with it. So tell us about it.
Absolutely. So we use sound and vibration to help the body relax, and it reinforces the mind-body connection. It literally, the vibration. So just to explain kind of the whole experience, you're laying down on this curved ergonomically designed lounge. And then inside the lounge are 4 tactile transducers, a fancy word for half of a speaker, but it creates vibration underneath you. You're also wearing headphones, or all of our technology also has built-in high fidelity speakers now. This is an upgrade from the unit that you used when you were there, but all of our products now include high fidelity speakers. So if it's just you in a quiet room, the speakers are great, especially if there's more than one person on the technology. It's a great way to drop in together, which is beautiful. But if you've got headphones on, you're listening to the same frequencies and vibrations that you're feeling. And this creates a 3-dimensional, fully immersive sound and vibration experience, touch and hearing experience for the mind, body, and spirit that has a bunch of physiological benefits as well as emotional and mental benefits as well. And the most powerful is that it resets the nervous system. And that's a word that gets thrown around a lot, especially in the biohacking world. But what that basically says is that we are kicking in the chemical cascades. We are initiating the chemical cascades associated with being calm and relaxed for your body. And that means that we are turning off the fight or flight response, that sympathetic nervous system response. And we are helping to initiate the parasympathetic or the calm and relaxed nervous system response. And we can dive into the nervous system response for sure. But the reality is when you're stressed and anxious, when you're in fight or flight, your body is in survival mode. And when it's in survival mode, it prioritizes different processes in the body and deprioritizes others. So when you're calm and relaxed, your body is in maintenance mode. It's doing all the things that it needs to do to operate optimally. When you're in fight or flight or survival mode, it is prioritizing survivability, which has a completely different mainframe and set of processes attached to it that does not help with the other. It's literally prioritizing your survival, and we've all been there. The other things that the physical vibration does is it sends a message to every muscle in the body telling it to relax. I call it relaxation from the outside in. And when you're laying on our bed, as I'm sure you can attest to, you literally feel these layers of relaxation coming over you where you drift further and further and further into the technology as more and more muscles continue to relax and allow yourself to experience that deep relaxation. And it's pretty much involuntary. Everybody that comes on our technology has an experience. They all feel altered. They all feel the vibration. Helps with circulation, and it obviously it helps with lactic acid buildup. It decreases recovery time after a workout. So yeah, we've got lots of different conversations that are happening on lots of different topics, and we can hone in on whatever you think is going to be the most powerful for your listener.
Yeah, and we will. I'm curious, as people listen to this description or the explanation of the benefits of it, they're wondering, is this an in-home thing? Is this someplace where you go somewhere and have it? And I actually experienced both because I had heard that there was a place where you could go, and that was one of the things that they offered. I don't know if it was like a float tank place or something like that.
Could be.
And then
Sedona's
they
a little
didn't,
hotspot for us.
I bet. Yeah. And then they didn't have it, but I happened to, like, they just moved locations and they're like, oh, we don't have it at the moment. But a friend of mine in Sedona knew the guy who had it. So
That's
I
awesome.
went to his house. So I actually did it in a residence, but
Yep.
I know that I could have done it in a commercial space. So how are you
Yeah.
guys marketing these?
Yeah, so all of the above. The person you probably met and had an experience with, Tim Lang. Shout out to
Yes.
Tim. He's absolutely fantastic and very well connected in the Sedona community. And yeah, we have a bunch of sound lounges in our technology, both in private residences and in public places in Sedona and really all over the country. You can hop on our website and you'll find our InHarmony locator. And you can just plug in your zip code and you can find somebody near you that might want to offer you a demo, either in their private residence or a home studio or a public studio. And the reality is I'm talking to probably 3 wellness centers a week at this point about bringing our technology in or to an existing wellness center or facility or clinic or someplace new. That's, hey, I'm opening this up in my town and I'm looking at a multitude of different technologies, and vibroacoustic therapy is one that I'm interested in, and we're one of the leaders in the space. So we do have that conversation quite a bit. I would say probably 50% of our clients right now are going into wellness centers, chiropractic clinics, massage therapists, professionals that are using our technology, guys and gals that do lash extensions and cranial sacral work and facials. There are so many different applications that why not add vibrational therapy or vibroacoustic therapy to the modality as an added value? If you're laying down, then it just makes sense that you may as well be laying down on a sound lounge as well. So it's a pretty nice break. And then also we're in corporations and companies as part of an employee wellness program. We are in executive offices as part of an offering to these shared office spaces as well. And then obviously we're also in private homes, residences. We got folks that are doing van life. that keep a practitioner or two in their van. We've got people that are doing RVs across the country. I mean, there are a ton of different applications for our technology. You know, I'm grateful for every unique conversation as it comes in. I wish I could tell you this is our target audience and this is where things are going. But the reality is we have meditation studios that are buying 10 cushions, linking them all together and doing courses and classes inside the headphones of each listener. We've got some really wild stuff, ketamine clinics, psychedelic therapy clinics that we're working with. I mean, the list goes on. And it's, as you can see, I get really excited about it because that's obviously what drives me. And these are the conversations that I get to have every single day. It's really quite awesome.
That's so cool. And it's so funny that you knew who the person was. In my own experience, I went to whatever the wellness place was and asked about the sound lounge. And then, like I said, they said they didn't
Yeah.
have it at the moment. But
Yeah.
then I guess when I left, they called him and they're like, hey, we need our sound lounge. We're getting people we have to turn away. And then he called my friend who was like, oh man, I have to give up my sound lounge. And then my friend called me. He's like, well, I think I accidentally caused a problem because it was my friend who sent me to that place. So it was, and so my friend was like, oh no, I know why that happened. I
Look,
know who asked.
Sedona is it's a really small town, you know, for what it
Yeah.
is. And Tim is really a staple in there. And he has been one of our longest standing affiliates. I mean, he goes back 7.5 years. He got one of our original 10 sound lounges that we produced in November of 2016. So
Oh, wow.
Tim and I have been longtime friends. He's a huge supporter of what we do. And probably one of the longest running Sedona affiliates and advocates for the Sound Lounge, and everybody knows Tim in town. So yeah,
Timmy.
it's awesome. He's great.
Shout out to Timmy.
Indeed. Big shout to Tim. Love you, buddy.
So, you know, the people who listen to this podcast are really interested in many things, but we focus on meditation, mindfulness, spirituality. So how does that, because you mentioned there's so many different ways, so many different facets to the prism of the Sound Lounge. Um, if you can take us down that path, how does
Totally.
it help somebody who is interested in becoming more connected to their spiritual side?
Yeah, look, that's all of us, in my opinion, right? Like, yeah, I get that that's your listener, but and the reality is, all of us, the answers are always within. All of these external things that we look to, including my technology, by the way. The reality is you don't need a $700 meditation cushion to go out and meditate. It helps tremendously, as we're going to talk about here in the next couple moments. But the reality is you can just go outside. To my point before, that didn't work for me. I needed more. And that's where sound and vibration really come into powerful support to reaching those deeper meditative states. Sound and vibration literally guides you into an alpha, theta, delta, or gamma brainwave state. Those are the target brainwave states, how fast the synapses are firing in the brain. We can test this through an EEG in real time, an echoencephalograph. And we can actually test how fast those synapses are firing to identify and to state clearly that we are bringing you into that deeper meditative state. So all of our technology does the same thing. And if you're not comfortable sitting upright or can't, regardless of whether you can do that in our meditation cushion, which we got a design patent for, specifically because it's the first of its kind to position the body in a lotus position, legs crossed, with your ankles below your knees, with your pelvic bone rolled forward. And people text me all the time and they say, hey, Craig, I can't sit cross-legged on the ground, but I can sit in your meditation cushion. This is amazing. Thank you so much. And then over time, they're sitting longer and longer and longer. Some folks are actually sitting in the chair for 30 to 60 minutes, which is great. In the beginning, start with 11 minutes. Our meditation cushion serves two main audiences when it comes specifically to meditation. And by the way, like I said, this certainly can be extrapolated to the rest of our products as well. Folks like me that can't meditate or haven't been able to meditate yet. You get on the cushion, you put on the headphones, you push play on one of our music meditations. There's 181 in our app as of today. We continue to add 1 to 3 a week in our app. So with that $8 subscription, we maintain the app, we keep it going, and obviously we put new music in it as well. You push play on a music meditation, and the only instruction is to lose yourself in the music. That's it. It's not stop thinking. It's not turn your mind off. It's not turn the thoughts off. It's not It's just lose yourself in the music and allow yourself to explore the music using your mind's eye. And in doing that, you will almost instantaneously be brought into an alpha brainwave state, and then down into theta, and down into delta, and up into gamma. And the brain will begin to move through these different brainwave states as it has different experiences. And practice. Meditation is a practice. It's like golf. You're always practicing. It's not something you ever really get good at. Even Tiger Woods is still out there practicing, right? Sadly and terribly, it's like being a doctor. They call it a practice because they're just figuring stuff out every single day. And you're going to do the same thing in your mind's eye, and you're going to do the same thing with your own self. So the first audience that we choose, that we work with and serve, is those that haven't been able to meditate and are looking for a training. Important to note in that audience that you are not developing a crutch or a reliance on our technology, but instead you are teaching your brain and developing the neural pathways with getting into and out of alpha, theta, delta, gamma, and those different brainwave states. Like a needle in a record, once those ruts are developed, the brain can go back now when you're in traffic, when your day's not going the way it's supposed to go, when that person in front of you has put their wrong debit code in 17 times and can't figure out how to check out, and you're in a rush and you just want to buy a bottle of water. Whenever life starts to unfold, you now have the ability to take a deep breath and to drift back into that meditative state without the technology. And I'm going to give you some tools that you can use, that you can bring with you. The only tool I've had since I got back late last night has been our extended music meditations, which are playing through my house, which you can't hear because of noise canceling, but they play all night long and all day long. I'm constantly listening to our frequencies, constantly keeping my mind, body, and spirit calm, relaxed, focused, driven. Because we're doing a podcast, I'm listening to our extended chapter 2 throat chakra extended music meditation, which is activating my throat and helping me to bring all these words to fruition so that I can have this incredible experience with you and your listeners. So pretty magical. The second kind of group that we cater to, specifically with the meditation cushion, but really with everything, is that 20-minute a day, 20-year meditator. Somebody that's like, Craig, I already have a practice. I already have a process. A lot of times our meditation cushion gets bought as a gift for this person. And then I get the text message, because you get my personal phone number. My phone number is at the top of my website. I'm like the single easiest person to get in touch with on the planet. And I get these voicemails of like, wow, Craig, I can't believe this cushion. I've been meditating 20 minutes a day for 20 years, and I didn't realize quite how deep I could actually go. Because when you're meditating 20 minutes a day for 20 years, how do you know how deep you're going? How do you know that there's deeper levels, right? Like I was talking about before with the glass levels, there's always another level. Like, I've been on this health and wellness trip for 12 years. I can't even tell you the stages I've been in, been able to talk on, and the people that I've been able to rub elbows with, and the conversations I've been able to have of incredibly talented healers that are like, Craig, your lips are a little chapped, which they happen to be a little chapped right now. I'm not drinking enough water. I get that. I also have a little bit of a histamine response because of the allergies, all the stuff that my landscaping crew just blew up around my house. Right? So like, hey, you should really try, this lemon oil, and you just put a little bit underneath your nose and your mustache, and then like, oh man, right? Like another level was just unlocked. So it's the same thing with meditation and mindfulness. The sound and vibration guides you into the depths of that meditative state. And like I said before, it's involuntary. So if you have that deep meditative practice, now you're going to be taken even deeper, even faster. So what people tell me is that as soon as that music meditation kicks on, if you've got that experience, you already know the rut has already been developed for that, just to use the needle in a record kind of example. Now it's going to take you deep, and it's going to take you deep quickly. So what usually took you 5-10 minutes to drop into state now happens in 5-10 seconds. And now the depth and the quality, the efficiency, the effectiveness of that meditative practice is amplified, and it's taken into their normal practice, whether it's transcendental meditation, whatever it might be. They are taken to the depths of that meditative state faster, and they're now given a tool that allows them to go deeper, faster, and more efficiently.
Wow. That sounds amazing. So you mentioned about the throat chakra and that was what you're listening to, you're surrounded by right now.
Hmm.
Are you using solfeggio tones? Are
Yes.
you like how are you, because there are different ways to approach frequency and how it
Totally.
works with the
Yeah.
chakra system
So
and so forth.
so this is on YouTube, and I don't know if that's going to show front words a lot, but it says unlock your inner voice. And I think it's 384 is the frequency that we're using. Yep, 384 hertz. There are a multitude of solfeggio frequencies that you can use. 384 is not a solfeggio frequency. 285, 396, those are the corresponding solfeggio frequencies. So here's the reality. There are no bad frequencies. There are only disharmonic frequencies. And that is completely dependent upon where you are at that time. So any one frequency is not going to be harmful to anyone. Your body is a big antenna. We're constantly coming into and out of what's called harmonic resonance with the frequencies that we are being presented with, whether that's through a Bluetooth speaker, through the speakers on your iPad or iPhone or Android, whatever, or through a big sound system at a concert or a nightclub, or whether you're laying on our sound lounge. Your body is coming into and out of harmonic resonance with the frequencies it's presented with. And by the way, if you're not presenting your body with frequencies, if you're not tending to that harmonic resonance, then you're coming into harmonic resonance with frequencies that you're not planning on, like Bluetooth, right? Look, I love these things. I'm an Apple everything guy. I've got the Apple Watch. I'm wearing a Whoop for tracking data. But you'll also notice that I'm doing things to curb my my exposure to EMFs, like using these air tubes as part of my podcasting kit. I don't sleep with my phone on. The only thing I sleep on is with a Whoop, and I'm only doing it for 12 months so that I can collect the sleep data, analyze it, make better decisions, and move on. So I think there's a time and a place for technology. I think technology got us into a lot of the health and wellness scenarios that we're experiencing. I also think technology can get us out, which is why we developed InHarmony products, which is why we're doing so well and sales have been so strong and conversations like this are happening more and more often, is because I think in this highly distracted world, we need tools that can help us to feel our best. We need tools that are exceptionally good at distracting us, like Instagram and TikTok and the dopamine that we get from scrolling through there. We need to combat that with equally powerful technology that can help take us in the other direction, and that's InHarmony products and music. Um,
Mm.
and
Well, it's when you say there are no bad frequencies, it makes me
yeah.
think of some interesting things that I've come across, videos that I've come across over time that talk
Oh yeah.
about how
Let's do it.
frequency has been used covertly to control people.
Yeah.
So what do you think about
No.
that?
All right. Look,
And we don't have to
I'm
go
not
there
going
if
to
you don't
use.
want to.
No, 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 no. I love going there. Let's go there.
Okay.
I think it's all. I think that part of the conversation, 440 versus 432. I think that's a little bit misguided and exaggerated.
Interesting. Okay.
Certainly, the body's going to react differently to 440 than 432, but but so let's unpack this, okay? So my wife is a first chair violinist, okay? Have you been to the symphony?
Yes.
Cool. So you go to the symphony, and the first chair violinist stands up, and she plays that A. So here's the theory, okay? I'm not even going to use the C word before it, but here's the theory. At some point in the early 1900s, the A that they tune the strings and the brass section, then the clarinet stands up, first chair clarinet stands up and plays an A, and the brass section tunes to that A. Before whatever, 1909, I think it was, or 1919, something like that, that A was 432 hertz. And then at some point after that, it changed to 440 hertz, 1 octave higher, okay? The same A, it's just 1 octave higher. So that means that the entire score, the entire performance, the entire recording, the entire music experience is 1 octave higher. I don't see how that's going to negatively affect how the body operates. I just don't. And while I appreciate the conversation around it, that doesn't make sense to me as somebody who studies frequency and its impact on our physiology. 432 is not a solfeggio frequency, although it gets coupled into that batch quite often, and we certainly have. It is harmonious to the body, and it does feel really good. 440 doesn't feel that much different. I've played with both of these numbers. Obviously, I've spent lots of time doing this, and I just think that it's a misguided part of the conversation as to how we're harming our overall body and health and wellness. I don't believe there are any bad frequencies. Look, there are negative frequencies that will absolutely disrupt how the body operates, and our military has been using them against their enemies for decades. So there's a ton of research there, but that's more amplitude, how loud that signal is. It's not the frequency itself. It's just how directed it is and the amount of energy that's being focused on people. And yeah, that could absolutely be harmful and super disturbing, very uncomfortable. Anything that is too energized or has too high an amplitude can be damaging. Just a sound. A gunshot 200 yards from you is you'll feel the pressure wave when it hits your body, but it's not damaging as if it were 2 feet from your earlobe unprotected. So I think that there's a lot of parts to that conversation, and I'm certainly open to continue the debate and the conversation. I absolutely love it. But to my point before, I really don't think there are any harmful frequencies. There are disharmonic frequencies. There are frequencies that don't feel as good as others, but they're not harmful, right? Like when you listen to music, you could certainly tell when a note is out of tune, when an instrument is not tuned correctly. And the only reason you can tell is because it is out of harmonic resonance, out of harmony with the rest of the frequencies that you're hearing. But when we listen to music, it's full frequency. It's broad spectrum. You're listening to a lot of different frequencies in that song. It's not any one frequency. So even our music meditation, right? So we'll say it's tuned to 432. It's tuned to 528. It's tuned to 741. That just means that main note is 741. And now you're listening to a full spectrum frequency experience that is just tuned to that one frequency, like a symphony tuning to that A, and making sure that all of the instruments are tuned to the same harmonic. That's it, right? Like even when you listen to a journey through 40 hertz, it's full spectrum. There's lots of different frequencies that are including in that. The music is the medicine. The experience that we have of the mind, allowing it to explore the music, the frequencies, the body to feel the vibrations, that's the magic. And the magic of our technology is that you are hearing the same thing that you are feeling. And that's every mechanoreceptor from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes to the top of your head is sending the same frequency as your auditory nerve. This creates that three-dimensional immersive experience that creates and kicks in the chemical cascades associated with being relaxed. Your body is doing all the magic. We're not doing the magic. We're simply creating an environment for your body to actually relax. And that's where the magic happens. That's where the inner work happens. That's where you get to reflect in your mind's eye on past experiences in a more positive light. That's where the healing actually happens. But you're doing it. It's your body that is creating that environment. All we're doing is helping to usher in the chemical cascades associated with being calm and relaxed. And then your body in all of its beauty knows exactly what to do. And it then starts to go, okay, cool. I'm not being threatened anymore. By the way, the body has one response to stress, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, relational, nutritional, financial, it doesn't matter. The body only has the sympathetic nervous system response. Kick up adrenaline, kick up cortisol, keep you hyper-focused on what the issue is until you solve it, and give you the power and the strength in all of your major muscle groups, diverting energy from the maintenance tasks like digestion, your immune system, reproductive organs, rational thinking. You only have a set amount of energy to deal with over the course of the day. So this becomes a very important purpose and point of making sure that you're finding time to relax over the course of the day so that your body knows, hey, now is time for me to maintain itself. Now it's time for me to kill off dead cells. Now it's time for me to kick in those detox processes. All the things that are not important when I'm in survival mode that need to be done day in and day out. Otherwise, your body's not going to function as efficiently as possible. Mindfulness and meditation is simply giving your mind, body, and spirit an opportunity to slow down and allow it to maintain itself for hopefully hours after that session. so that you can operate at your optimal and your best.
So how long is an optimal session?
22 minutes. The science and the research says 22 minutes is optimal. I've got to tell you, I've been spending 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes on my sound lounge lately, just because at 22 minutes, absolutely, you feel relaxed and you absolutely kick in. But at 33 minutes, there's a deeper level of relaxation that comes over you. And right up to about 60 is kind of the sweet spot. 30 to 60 minutes for me lately has really been my sweet spot in creating time and space for me to really go deep.
Do you have for you personally or stories? Because you talk about the cells, kind of the cells killing off the damaged cells and so forth, cellular regeneration and things like that. What kind of case studies do you have from yourself or from people who have used this technology?
Yeah, we're in the process of, I've got 4 pilot studies that are running right now that are going to turn into published research projects and research papers that will be peer reviewed over the next 2-3 years. So we've got some really exciting stuff that is being done specifically on our hardware using our music meditations. But the science and the research goes back 45 years to the late 1970s. A gentleman by the name of Olav Skill was the first to create the term vibroacoustic therapy, vibration acoustic sound, so sound and vibration therapy. And then the body of research that has stemmed off of that is really powerful. I have both anecdotal, all of the testimonials that you find on our website are all legit and authentic. Those are real owners and real people that have experienced our technology and our company. And then I get text messages all the time from people telling me the difference that it's had on a positive impact on sleep, on their overall demeanor, on how their body is operating. So I know all the things that I'm saying right now hold truth and are part of the experience that our clients have, especially from regular use and regular access. Anecdotally, I can tell you myself, I mean, it's completely changed how I operate day to day. It's completely changed how I rest and relax and give myself downtime so that I can operate optimally when it's time to perform. And I see it in my Whoop data. I see it in my Apple Watch data. I see it in my athletic performance. I see it in when I do put demands on my body and how it reacts at 45 years old. And I see it in my mental agility and memory recall and words, identifying the words that I need when I need them, the cognitive ability and the cognitive incline that I see. All of that is, I think, a very important part to the picture, and we will create more studies. We will test more and more specific to that, and I'm very excited for that. Science and research is something that I'm very much dedicated to. You're going to start seeing more and more of our own research on our science and research page in the coming weeks, months, and years.
That's wonderful. Well, the sound is so important to the product. How are the sounds being created, or are you the producer of those sounds?
So we have a very talented internal team member. His name is Anthony Weiss. He goes by Home, Hohm. He's a very talented music producer digitally, as well as a performance artist who plays, I don't even know how many different instruments, the handpan, the Native American flute, the guitar, the piano. I mean, really, he's incredibly talented. He does these live sound journeys as both a DJ as well as, I'll call him a bass head. He absolutely loves bass music, which is very fitting and perfect for what we do. And he creates just about all of our music. We have a number of artists that we've collaborated with that have wanted to put music out in our network. There's probably about 10 or 12 different artists that have contributed so far, with another 15 or 20 that are just waiting in line for us to find the time and the energy to begin producing music with them. We have guided music meditations. We have breath work. We have just regular music meditations without words. Others that have specific I am statements that are built into it, like abundance, a couple of others. So yeah, we're constantly turning out new music meditations to a tune of at least one, if not 3 or 4 every week. The app is a separate subscription. It's $8 a month or $80 a year. And at one point, we did give it away for free. That was originally the way that we were going to do it, is you buy a product and you get access to our app. There were two issues with that. One, we got a lot of people that use our app that don't buy the hardware, that just use our app to stream along their way, or use it with a Bluetooth speaker, or use it just through their phone or a set of headphones, high fidelity, or just normal earpods. And we needed a way for them to contribute to the betterment and contribute to music. So that $8 a month goes to maintaining the app. I am blown away. This is the first app I've run like this. I'm blown away at how expensive it is to develop an app and then keep it going. Android comes out with a new version and we've got to edit the code. iOS comes out with a new version and we've got to edit the code. So that's just to keep things flowing. That's without growth. We add more tracks. We've got to change the way that we encrypt and the capacity of our servers. There's just a lot that goes into maintaining this kind of an app and the amount of growth that we've managed. So the $8 a month goes to new music and it goes to maintaining the app, separate of hardware sales. If God forbid something happens to sound lounge sales, practitioner, massage table, or cushion sales, I don't want the app to turn off. I don't want us not to be able to support the app. So I'm proud to say that right now the app is sustaining itself by itself, which is great, because that allows us to invest in music, invest in artist collaborations, invest in paying people for their time. That is well worth it, and very important for us to bring to fruition. So the app is kind of its own little thing, and obviously it drives the experience, the music meditation experience that you have through our hardware as well. And then, of course, we have our Spotify channel, Spotify playlists that we maintain, as well as our extended music meditations on our YouTube channel. That are all designed to help you bring your mind, body, and spirit in harmony with the world around you.
Beautiful. Well, how can people learn more about InHarmony and Sound Lounge?
By reaching out to you and asking questions, by listening to obviously this podcast, because this is one of the best ways for me to be able to get long form content out. I'm one of the most easiest to find on the internet. I'm super Googleable. My name, Craig Goldberg. The URL getoncraigsbed.com is one that's been taking. Getoncraigsbed.com, or our main website, which is also, I think, pretty easy and pretty straightforward. IamInHarmony.com. Two most important words in the English language. I am, because anything you put after it, you are. So why not be in harmony with the world around you? And IamInHarmony.com. And then you'll find our socials and my phone number's at the top of the website and email address to get in touch with our team. And we really do pride ourselves on being everywhere, this omnipresence, if you will. We're on just about all the social networks, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, wherever you're downloading and getting information, we're probably there. And just search InHarmony Interactive and we should come out.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. I've really loved this conversation and I've learned a ton. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Yeah, you're welcome and thank you. So grateful to be here.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Meditation Conversation. I'd be so grateful if you would share this episode with someone in your life who would appreciate it. You may not realize just how valuable your sharing is, as it helps to build momentum and make high vibrational content such as this more accessible and easier to find. I'd also be grateful for you to subscribe to this content. Thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to the next meditation conversation.